Good morning. Well, I don't know how long this. Hello to everybody. Mwah. I don't know how long this video is going to last because I have 3 dogs in the house and I think there's some company on the grounds. So I'm not sure if we're not going to be interrupted. I'm not sure if we're not. I'm thinking we might get interrupted, so we'll see. Happy holidays. That's one of my favorite cups. And guess where I got it? I got it as a gift with, there was some saran lining and then candy put in it with a ribbon in it. And I just thought, oh my gosh, what a great way to give a cup. And other than that, I don't think it was wrapped. Like, it didn't have like a plastic outside, or it might have been in a gift bag. I do not believe I'll ever remember who gave it to me because I've been stumped. Hey, if you gave me this cup, is that the sweetest thing? Let me know if it was you. Is that cute? Okay, anyway, I'm here because Valentine's Day is coming up. And one of my friends, she's at every holiday or every once in a while just, like, it's not Valentine's Day yet, but maybe it's a pre-Valentine's. But it's just a very sweet card, basically, to say hello and you're sweet or you're special. I'm going to have to watch it again because I was groggy when I watched it. Just watched it a few minutes ago. I'm groggy. So I got to put on makeup or I just don't feel good for the rest of the day. So I want to talk to you about self-pity and the holidays. Self-pity is when we're feeling sorry for ourselves. I know a lot of people don't like the term self-pity, but I like it. I like the term because my logical mind says that word matches up exactly with the definition. I like that. I like it when things align. Like the word codependency doesn't line up to me. I never thought it lined up. I think codependency sounds like a good word where two people coexist, codependency, co-owners, right? Depend on each other, own the same thing, exist in the same area. So codependency always sounded like it was is it a misnomer? I don't know. Anyway, just wanted to let you know the self-pity. Pity isn't even something we should do for other people. We really, but we'll do it for ourselves. It's where we feel like someone else has so much less than us, that they're so mistreated, miscared for, pathetic, meaning pathology, that oh, those poor people are just stuck in nowhere. It's a sad way to feel about people. This is just CeraVe in a smaller container. I'm experimenting with not putting such a heavy cream on in the mornings because my makeup won't stay put. It likes to pull down on my skin. And give me black eyes. And I don't need it in the mornings. now that my skin is stabilized. I'm going to tell you, that castor oil, why didn't anybody force me to believe the rumors about it a long time ago? I guess I grew up with mineral oil in my closet. And somebody said you had to take a teaspoon of that if you had diarrhea. And I tried it one time as a kid because I was always constipated, just nerves and dehydrated. Didn't have fruits and vegetables. And I just always thought castor oil was just another type of seed oil to do that. And it is thick. So completely misunderstood. And I'm telling you, my skin looks so much better. And it's not just the dryness that it has taken care of. It's the hold on. My liver spots or my allergies have been so bad. And we have a lot of moisture in our yard. I live on these gentle rolling hills, and the water settles in certain pockets and certain I don't know how close your neighbors are, but the rolling hills are kind of like it reminds me kind of what's it called? On top of a pie. The lattice on top of a pie. All the neighborhoods all the blocks in my neighborhood are kind of like that. To where every few houses there's a dip. And sometimes they're big dips and sometimes they're little dips. And we live on, when it rains real hard here, our neighbor took a little canoe out and took it down from in front of, to the right of our house, down into our ditch, up and over the driveway, down into their ditch, and then along the ditch or along the side of their house. And if we didn't have these fences, he could have rode it all the way around into the drainage pipe that goes under a street. He could have stopped there. Oh my God. And I didn't realize until he did that what watershed he was following. It was very interesting. I was thinking, I love my neighbors. I really do. Anyway, back to self-pity. So when I was younger, I didn't think much about other people's pain. I was so worried about mine. The only time I never worried about it. I had like intuitive feelings where I could connect with somebody else, and then I could ask them questions that were helpful. I've always been able to do that, but I never understood pity for another person. I guess because I always thought everybody had more than me. So I didn't have pity for other people. Oh, you poor thing. I had, well, at least you have more than I do. At least you have more than I do. Matter of fact, when I was a little girl, I had a horrible time. I had a horrible attitude. I gotta get some makeup on. I had a horrible attitude about how children would act so darned spoiled in stores. Like if a parent was going to buy them a gift at Toys R Us. No, I never went to Toys R Us, hardly ever. Where would it have been that I would have seen them? Kmart, Walmart, things like that. And a child was misbehaving, and a parent was trying to be sweet and explain to them that it costs money and they already got a present last week and blah, blah, blah. And I remember thinking, wow. Number one, I think part of my jealousy was that they could, and I would never act like that. I remember thinking, oh my God, I would never act like that. Oh my gosh, I would never act like that. I was jealous that they were able to act like that. I didn't know that's what was going on at the time. What I said at the time, in my head, not out loud, was, wow, I'm jealous because they're out as a family together. Period. I was jealous that kid had a loving parent, and I was jealous because that parent had a kid that was brave enough to even speak up. I know, could be dying. No, we all are. It's just allergies. Please believe me, I'm fine. You know what makeup that was? I want to share this with you. I've had so much bad foundation lately that I've shared with you. I've given away because I didn't have the right color. It worked nicely, but the wrong color. I got rid of everything. This works well. It's the second time I've used it, so I'll let you know. But it's a very natural, light coverage, not settling in my skin. But I do have to tell you this. If you're looking for full coverage, this is not it. And it's moisturizing, so I'm not going to put on another layer of it. And it's got 21 sunscreen. Big deal. Okay, back to self-pity. This is something I want you to know. Self-pity is poison. Self-pity is poison. So I have been pumping that negative chemical in my system from a very early age. And as I aged, it even gave me fuel for fire to drink long and hard. Every holiday was full of such self-pity. I made myself physically and mentally sick. Now, your drug of choice may not be alcohol, but is it prescription drugs? Is it ridiculous relationships? Is it shopping? Is it being nasty to other people? I don't know, but I can tell you what, I was able to check a few of those off my box until I got spiritual help, until I got mental help that helped me face that, well, I wasn't going to live forever, and is this really how I wanted to live it? So when we're talking about sobriety, we're not just talking about alcohol sobriety or drug sobriety or porn sobriety or gambling sobriety. We're talking about mental health sobriety, poisoning ourselves with our brain chemicals that makes us sick and tense and wears out our physical health, right? They're all drugs. It's just one comes from inside your brain. Does that make sense? Yeah. So with the holiday coming up, let's pretend that you are trying to stay sober, that you that you are smartly not going to go into the bars, right? Why would you? So, and if you're trying to recover from over shopping or gambling, you're not going to go to a casino or online games. But what's going to help you not do those things? Are you going to ask your friends to help support you to not do that? Are you going to keep yourself busy with a project so you don't go? The reason why I'm bringing this up is because you may think that you're not feeling sorry for yourself. Like, oh, I've got it handled. But so does everybody else when they're getting ready to go into a bar to join their friends for the best cheeseburger in town. Or, well, I just need to pick up a little something, or whatever it is. You're just going to want to be ready. Valentine's Day can make us so sick with self-pity. And you have to remember this. The people who made a big deal out of Valentine's Day were in it for the money. It's not truly a day for lovers to celebrate love. What a way to earn money as a marketer is to make people buy things, feel like they have to buy things to make somebody else know that they're loved and appreciated, when that's not what's going on at all. It's really quite a shame. But I always liked marketing as far as, you know, curiosity killing the cat kind of thing. There was a time when I thought I'd be a good marketer because I kind of know people. But I just don't think I could live with myself, because I'd probably be good at it. And then I'd feel like such a jerk. So number one, when you recognize what the holiday really is about, it's about marketing. It's not truly about, if you don't have a partner, that you're less than. That's not what it's about. It truly is about money, and that is it. And if you do some history checking and find out I'm wrong, go ahead and tell me, but I don't care, because it's how I feel. They have blown it way out of proportion. Matter of fact, if I remember it right, it's kind of a gruesome story. And Hallmark I think it was Hallmark, that someone from their store or someone who was contracted to them actually came up with some of this ridiculous behavior. Anyway, that's my story. Oh, I shouldn't have said the word. I'm not trying to do blasphemy, because they do a lot of good things. They're really wonderful. Matter of fact, let me retract. I don't want to say it was them. I'm sorry. Please don't sue me. I'm already making a public apology. Anyway, now back from our mistake. So what I want to say is, what am I going to use for eyeliner? Here's a really dark taupe. I think I'll keep it natural today. Oh, God. I'm so tired of people suing each other for running their mouth. God, when I was a kid, you could run your mouth about anything. And you didn't have to worry about going to court, being sued. Just didn't have to worry about that because people didn't take words so seriously. Not that maybe they shouldn't have, but they didn't. And so a lot of us who would vent through words, and there are a lot of us who do. Some people vent through working out, through overworking, through an addiction, through volunteer work, through playing with their kids, through having sex. Some people have lots of different outlets, but some of us like to powwow. We like to talk. We like to figure things out verbally, and that's me. I remember being a kid, and we used to say, man, when a bunch of us woke up and realized we can't say, oh, I just want to kill him. We can't say that anymore. And oh, we went through some changes. Oh, I could just kill myself. We used to say that stuff all the time, and now oh my God, you can't be a drama queen anymore. Oh. Unless, of course, you're wearing a rainbow. Then you can. Then you can do or say whatever you want. It seems like. So once again, back to the spiritual condition. Say what you mean what you say, don't say it mean. I mean, really. Oh, I want to tell you, here's the thing. If one of the things you can take because if you were like me, you were raised around Valentine. I mean, it was a deal. It was a big deal. Valentine's Day was a big deal. Not when I was a little kid, of course. When I was a little kid, yes, it was a big deal when I was a little kid. Thank you for reminding me. When I was a little kid, I remember we had these little cheap Valentine's Day cards. They're real flimsy cardboard, heavy paper. And everyone in the class would buy them for everyone else in the class. And it was a time when I always felt such sickening self-pity because I was the quiet, weird, funny smelling, funny looking, because all my clothes were outdated or too short or too small or too big. So I didn't get as many Valentine's cards as everybody else. And it was humiliating. It was so humiliating. I never understood kids who picked on other kids. I never understood it. It's just not my personality to understand it, I guess. But I hated Halloweens because of families going out together. I hated Valentine's because there were cards that were given that I didn't get. And if I did get them, they didn't have special notes in them, and I knew it was done obligatory. They were felt obligated. You know what I mean? Not because they thought it was fun to give me a card. I knew, right? I didn't know, however, how unattractive I was. I didn't know how often to have a bath to not have the type of body odor they could smell. Lived out in the country with well water, and if the well water dried up, I didn't think to get I wasn't lazy, but I didn't think to get a gallon of water from a neighbor to brush my teeth and wash my hair. I didn't think about that. And we had a neighbor up the road who I think we were just like 500 feet too far out to get city water, something like that. But I don't think they ever had trouble with their water. And of course, my mom and dad were divorced, and so they didn't have the money to, they spent their money on other things, not their little daughter's clothes. So my self-pity, I knew I didn't look like the other kids finally in a certain grade, but I think it was maybe second grade, third grade, I realized the bullying got louder. Yeah, kids start getting louder in second and third grade, it seems like. And the reason why I'm telling you all these gory details is because a lot of people don't talk about these things. And a lot of people don't face the damage of self-pity. That's why I'm sharing this. So I'm hoping someone out there will hear this and know that it's funny where people say, oh, it's not your fault you got bullied. But if your parents aren't there to help you through that, or a counselor, or some kind of support system, of course a child is going to think it's their fault. That's how children's brains work. And that's why I don't work with children, is because I really don't, excuse me, I really don't relate well. Oops, wrong. I picked up the wrong Q-tip. There we go, throw it away. Their little brains are so concrete, it seems like. It takes them a while to get more plastic. There we go. I knew something was going on there. I just have to get my eyes focused right to be able to see it. My eyebrows, my eyelashes are crazy. You know, there are some people bragging about how much castor oils help their eyelashes, but I don't. Mine have always been long. So I don't know that this made them any thicker as far as in amount. There we go. But it's the liver spots that are fading that has just blown my mind. That's what I was talking about earlier. I don't know if I ever finished that sentence. I'm nervous because I know I have company in the house and I keep expecting someone to come right through that door. But I wanted to touch base with you about Valentine's Day self-pity. Please understand that the more you feel sorry for yourself for being alone on Valentine's Day, the more you're poisoning yourself with these brain chemicals that wear you out. They're the same brain chemicals that it takes to deal with something that gives you those same emotions. Like, what could that be? Something really disgusting. It'd be like you having to go through seeing a horrible traffic scene from a horrible accident. Try to remember that, is that there's no logical reason for you to feel sad on Valentine's Day. Not logically, right? You're feeling bad on Valentine's Day or about Valentine's Day because marketing has told you what Valentine's Day is supposed to look like for you. You're supposed to get an expensive piece of jewelry. You're supposed to go on a trip. You're supposed to get flowers, candy, and an expensive dinner. And what if you're single? Then you feel like you have to go buy yourself something, or you have to hang your head or be ashamed or embarrassed. Or what if your relationship just isn't at that stage where y'all want to spend money on each other? You barely know each other. Don't do that. What if you have a partner, but they're just not romantic? So you're supposed to feel sick because they didn't get you a card or a list of other Valentine's gifts? Or what if your religion says, we don't celebrate these types of holidays, but all your other friends get it, so you're kind of embarrassed. Then you're also embarrassed about your religion. What if you're like me, excuse me, and you've decided you don't want to go through what it takes. Sorry, I know that's just horrible for you to sit through me hacking like that. I may have to go to the doctor and get an antibiotic. I don't think it's anything worse. I just need to probably take another allergy pill. I did just take a mucus pill because this is just coffee and sugar. There's no cream that's supposed to aggravate me. It's just, there's mold, the beautiful bright green mold growing in the yard, and all the things sprouting. We've got bulbs sprouting all over the place. Some of my flower bulb garden out back is blooming. Evidently, the one section I planted were a different type of bulb, and those didn't come up. So I waited too long to plant those. That was my fault. I'm sad, a little sad that I let them die. So they may have been dead before I got them. I don't know. But I do know, had they not been dead, probability is they were in my shed, and my shed was so messy, I forgot all about them. And I was just kind of feeling sorry for myself and a little self-pity, making myself sick, that certain things weren't getting done that would have made it easier for me to plant those bulbs. I had such trouble with landscapers last year and the year before. It's just for the last 5 years that I was letting it get to me. But, what can you do? Especially with this whole COVID thing. It's really changed the dynamics. Anyway, that was one of the things that I actually had self-pity about. That's another story. I'm telling you from my own experience that if you're feeling, it's one of the easiest holidays to get through if you have your eyes wide open. Thanksgiving and Christmas are harder holidays to get through. And Valentine's is the biggie. When you're single or when you're in a hard relationship. I don't know, especially like Anna, I don't know if y'all make a big deal out of Valentine's Day there as well, like in different countries. I'm not sure, but I can tell you in America, it used to be a super big deal, and it doesn't even trigger me anymore. Hasn't for a while. We don't know about next year, but it hasn't this year. Matter of fact, it kind of comes and goes without me paying much attention to it. And this is the same with most holidays for me. So, like I said, there's plenty you can do about it. Number one. Number two, the biggest thing is don't get drunk. Don't get drunk on other substances and not on your own brain excretions and neural pathways. Don't do that. Fight it. Because if you do, you're going to have a whole different existence on this planet. you're going to feel a lot better about your life, period. Oh, can you tell I like beige? Look at all this beige. I do. I like beige. So anyway, I know this has been discombobulated. I'm not a good speaker. I'm not trying to perform. And I was thinking about too, if I feel rushed during a speech or a lecture, like when I was in school and I knew we had to get so many speeches in a short time, that's when I was my worst, unless I really practiced. And that's not what I'm doing here. So I'll try not to make little videos when I know I have company and I'm apt to be interrupted, because I know it's probably harder for you to make sense. And I just miss y'all. And I love the messages that you've given me. I just have not been able to sit down. I've been so busy with work and little emergencies that I haven't had a chance to really sit down and do my paperwork, let alone answer sweet emails. So please bear with me. I will answer. And matter of fact, what I might do is try to figure out how to, I'll try to like make notes. I know I've probably said this before. I promise it and then I fall through. But it depends on my schedule and how much privacy I have. I'll make notes of what some of y'all brought up and do a live and kind of talk about some of those topics. Because I'm telling you what, Diane and Dinah, especially, holy cow, y'all are good writers and you bring up really good points. Oh, you're so good with words. And some of the wisdom you're sharing, hey, y'all, if you don't have anything better to do, go through the comments section, because some of y'all are sharing, you're taking what I'm trying to say and they're saying it so eloquently that I'm just like, y'all need to write a book. Y'all need to start a channel. Dang, I'd watch it. Come on. Anyway, just glad you're here. I love you. And this whole self-improvement journey is hard to do. But if you're wallowing in self-pity, if you think your life sucks, and if it is kind of shitty, so what? So what? It doesn't really matter. What matters is, what are you doing about it right now? What are you doing about it, at least for a few minutes at a time? What are you doing about it to make it a little bit better tomorrow? Doesn't mean the situation has to be better. It means you have to be better. I have to be better. I have to have a better attitude than I did when I was making myself physically and mentally, emotionally sick, because I was lonely, because I was embarrassed, because I was ashamed. But did I get out and help other people? Did I get out and raise myself a little higher by being a more caring person, by being more generous with labor and helping others? I remember one time I was so desperate to stay sober, I got a big trash bag, some rubber gloves, and I went out into the neighborhood. I lived this was a long time ago, several blocks in a small town, between my house and Main Street. And I knew every time I walked that path, there was always little pieces of paper here and there. So I just started picking up litter, putting it in that trash bag. And I did it and walked and did it and got to say hello. Hi. That's when I started my hi neighbor thing. Whenever I'm go for a walk, I go, hi neighbor. As a matter of fact, there's some neighbors here in the back of me that I'm always saying, hi neighbor. And so I was at the voting booth, and this sweet lady, and she and I've gave her some bulbs for elephant ears before. She admired those, so I gave her some, and now I have none because mine didn't get planted in time. Oh, so sick about that. Anyway, when I saw her at the voting booth, I knew she looked a little familiar, but I had stuff on my mind. Anyway, she goes, "Hi, neighbor." And I'm like, "Hi, neighbor." And she goes, "You know, that's your neighborhood nickname." I was so flattered. Oh my God. You know, I tell you a lot of stories about how abused and neglected I was when I was younger, as a child, especially. Where I truly was a victim of circumstances. I didn't have the power or the knowledge to change my situation. But as we get older, if we're still complaining and we've been hearing things that we can do to help ourselves, whose fault is it now? Ugh. Was that a punch in the gut? Yeah, I know it was for me. It was like, whose fault is it now? Well, if you had my life, you'd drink too, so to speak, right? Yeah, but you want to feel different? You want to have the things emotionally, mentally, monetarily, etc., that you didn't ever used to have? What are you going to do to get it? Are you sick and tired of being poor? Then get a job. Well, welfare doesn't pay enough and I only get so much on food stamps. Then get a job. Well, nobody loves me. They all think I'm a bitch. If you have enough time on your hands to be a bitch, get a job. I mean, holy cow. Get therapy. Figure out why you insist on behaving that way. And if it's because of past wounds, then come on. Don't be lazy. Pull out your guns and fight the urge to be mouthy. Trust me, I want to be a lot mouthier than I am, but I'm not. Why? Because it's undignified. It's ridiculous behavior. And why would I want to treat somebody in a way I wouldn't want to be treated? Why would I perpetuate abuse? Why would I be the perpetrator? Hey, I used to work with domestic violence victims, and I also did seminars for domestic violence perpetrators. I also did anger management groups and domestic violence court counseling. And I can tell you that almost everyone in my groups had been victimized, sometimes from their victim. So victim turned perpetrator. And some of the female perpetrators, yes, did so because they had been victimized. And sometimes it wasn't from their partner, it was from the original perpetrators, the parents, right? The parents help set the template for how the child is going to treat her future relationships. How could it be any different, right? Unless the kid is a true narcissist. I had very few narcissists in my groups. Very few narcissists. Matter of fact, I think one of the narcissists that was in the group was actually an instructor who I eventually called out and said, "Whoa, please hold up. You're expecting a lot out of people who don't know what you're talking about. Let's back it down a little bit." And the reason I had to do it in front of the group is because it got too aggressive, and I couldn't get them out of the room with just, "Hey, let's step outside for a minute and discuss the direction of where we're going." I didn't know how to interrupt it any more graceful than that, and that didn't work, and turned them against me for a few minutes. And then the next week when we came back to do the concurrent weekend seminar group, I got a pretty good apology. It was good enough. Um, so I'm not sure, but holy cow, it sure looked like this was like 30 years ago, 25, 30 years ago, but it looked a lot like what's been going on these campuses where somebody's just furious and fierce about being heard. And it was weird because it came out of left field. It was when the statement queer first resurfaced. When I was real little, queer meant unusual, inquiry, questioning, queer, odd, mystery. It wasn't used very often anymore because it was sort of the old language. You might see it in some of the older books more than it wasn't in everyday language as far as I knew. I was fairly isolated, but from school or, when I would go to town, I didn't hear the word very often. Or if I did, someone would say, "Oh, that's queer." Like, "Oh, that's unusual." It had nothing to do with sex. I tell you that. It was usually in literature, referring to, oh, the queer way that they responded made me wonder if they were involved. It was like that. From what I remember. So when it came out to be a sexual thing, just like the word gay, people would say, "Oh, they're so gay," or "Oh, they're so queer," and you're like, "What? What does that mean?" Well, it was a lazy way of saying homosexual, I guess, or sexually different in some way. So we were in this conference, and this person says, I don't know why it was introduced in the first place. I do remember, we had some lesbian perpetrators in this particular group. And I'm thinking they were trying to show that they were taking in consideration the vulnerabilities and the aggressions that can be in what would look like a normal coupleship compared to a queer coupleship. And I was and you could have dropped a pen when this other leader was saying that. It was like, what are you saying? And then I said something like, "Do you want to explain what you mean by queer coupleship?" Because I can tell that a lot of us used to think that was a put down. And I'm telling you, because we had never heard it. And so they write really hard on the board all these letters, LGBTQIA. And we're like, what? And then I get yelled at for not knowing. And I was like, okay. We're in a domestic violence seminar and you're attacking me. You need to get a hold of yourself. I mean, it got very uncomfortable. It really got like, holy cow, those poor people in our seminar. But we did get a very good apology the next week. So that's good. So anyway, I can't believe how long I've been on here. So yeah, relationships can be hard. Just think of all the relationships I've seen, whether it was in my office as individuals, couples, or the groups that I've tried to teach how to have better relationships. But it's not just with the other person. It's with ourselves. That's why it's so important to not think about how you can have a better relationship. I mean, go ahead and do that with your relationship coach or therapist or your book or what you're thinking. Go ahead and do that. But I'm telling you, the bottom line is, what can you do for you? What can you do to prove to yourself that you have self-respect, self-love? What are you doing to motivate yourself into recognizing it is totally unnecessary to feel shame about what you get for Valentine's Day? Oh my gosh. Anyway, how y'all doing? Now that I've vented and probably gotten myself in trouble. Oh, please don't let me get taken to court for anything I say. Hey, if you ever see me not on here for very long, it's usually because I've got something on my mind that I want to share, but I don't know how to say it without getting in trouble. Or I'm overloaded with work and sometimes I don't even want to say anything. But once I do snap out of that and get some rest, woohoo! Blah. And if you can get anything out of what I share, that just makes me so happy. I was visiting with a friend the other day, and oh my God, we were chit-chatting nonstop. And I don't know, she hardly says, I don't think she's ever said anything I disagree with. Matter of fact, most of the things she shares, I do agree with completely and will stand by it in a powerful way. But she doesn't bring anything, I would say, and most people don't, most of us don't bring anything new to the table. But I can tell you that the benefits of getting to spend time with someone that you like, that you agree with, that agrees with you, is like having armor layered on before you get back into the world and have to go fight dragons, you know? I love spending time with people who are on the same page with me. It's okay to challenge each other, but in a relationship where you're challenged frequently to be your best self, to think outside the box, to decide if you're right or wrong, it gets exhausting. So this Valentine's Day, if you don't have anything better to do than feel sorry for yourself, try to make a friend. Send out a little note. Hey, don't know what your Valentine's Day looks like, but I am going to go to Peabody's restaurant and treat myself to a Valentine's Day lunch. If you want to join me, that would be great. I'm going to invite a couple other people and we're all going to just go Dutch. You know, open it up. If I get invitations like that, I love it. Matter of fact, I got an invitation one time do you remember when what was it, the Red Hat Ladies or Purple Hat Ladies group really, I guess there was a book about it. I never did read it. I was gifted it and then gave it away as a gift because I didn't have anything else to give. But I'm going to have to look into that. It was out years and years ago. But, oh God, that was probably 30 years ago, 25, 30. Yeah. Anyway, you could do something like that. Everybody has to dress up in red, right? And if you don't know anybody because you've been isolating because your relationship's so crappy or you've been so crappy, I'm just kidding. I get it. Loneliness and self-pity can turn us into people we wouldn't want to hang out with. But this is a perfect chance to practice. Maybe you have an old, lonely neighbor. You know, you could make some cookies and pass them out to your old couples in your neighborhood. Or invite them to meet. There's a neighborhood app. I think it's called Neighborhood. or the neighbor, or just neighbor. Anyway, it's green with the little N in it in the middle of the green box. Look that up for your neighborhood, because a lot of times people would put in there different groups under the umbrella of that app group. And there was a group that was called the Lunch Buddies, where we'd meet at different lunch spots around town. But a lot of the people that were in the app met across town, where the traffic was a half an hour there and a half an hour back, and I couldn't afford that much emotional stress to go to lunch. I just wasn't going to do that. But I had several lunches up the street from my house, which is easy to get to and has good food. But it was too far for most of them. And you're not going to like everybody. And I know there was this old guy who would show up. He was probably at least 10 years older than me. And I really liked him. And had I been single, that would have been fun to explore, because his wife had passed away. But I knew that I felt intellectually that if he and I had lunches by ourselves too often, me being married, that could have been a problem. So I haven't done that for a while. Now, when spring gets here, I'm thinking of doing it again. And this time maybe making it and just making sure it's at a regular spot in my area, and see, because it's somewhere I would take myself to lunch by myself, and I did for years. So, all right, I guess I gotta get started with my day. I have laundry to do. I think I'm gonna take my Swiffer around too. I could do that. I'm feeling better and better every day. Boy, I'm so grateful. I finally got some decent sleep last night. Matter of fact, I woke up around 8:30 and thought, oh, I could get up. And then I just thought, I'm going to enjoy my bed because my bed's so comfy. And I woke back up about 10. I have so much drainage. I don't know how many Mucinex you can take in a day, but I'm thinking about taking another one already. All right, I love you guys. And, whoops, I like this simple, easy makeup that I've been doing lately. I just have to do like I did today, put a little bit of powder underneath my eyes, because my mascara, or my skin is so moist now. That I keep getting these dark circles underneath. And that's not what I want. And my skin has gotten so nice that I can actually afford a little powder under my skin now. We're there for a while. Oh my gosh, my skin was so dry. Well, if we don't have company, that's okay with me. I don't know about you, but I also have a bunch of TV shows to catch up on. I don't know what's going on, but I found this cute show, and I don't think they have any more new seasons, but they have 7 seasons. And if it has several seasons, I'll watch it. But if it just has a couple seasons, I don't care. One season, I don't care how good it is anymore. I don't want to watch it, because I always leave hungry for more. I want more of that story. So anyway, this one does have 7 seasons, so I'm getting a nice good fix before it ends. It's called Drop Dead Diva. Oh my God. It's on Hallmark Channel. It is so freaking cute. I love it. And I just fall in love with the heroine of the story. Just love, love, love her. Oh my gosh, she's a good actor. Once in a while, she makes an expression where I think, oh, I bet she can be a bad self. But usually she has this expression like, how can you not love her innocence? Oh, sweetness. Anyway, I'm going to probably binge watch some of that while I'm Swiffering and folding clothes. What are you going to do today? What are you going to do for Valentine's Day? I'm just sitting around thinking, see, for holidays, one of the things you can do is start planning several days ahead. That's what's going to make it easier to get through it, right? So, if you are going to do something or aren't going to do something, one of the things that can help settle it on the inside is to give a good reason why. No, I'm not going to do anything romantic with my partner for Valentine's Day. We don't celebrate holidays, or that's just not our style. We buy each other things throughout the year, so we don't do that. We have plans with the grandkids this Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, when is that? Oh my gosh, it comes and goes. Sometimes that alone can make us feel better, right? If somebody says, why aren't you drinking that beer? Or why aren't you having a glass of champagne with us? And you don't drink, sometimes it's a real pain in the brain to not know what to say. So if you say, oh, I've had way too much already, that's the truth. That's an answer. Or you can say, I am waiting for my apple cider to come. I'm going to drink that in champagne. Oh, one little glass won't hurt you. Oh, the glass won't hurt me, but I might hurt others. So we won't be adding alcohol to my system. Or, you know what? It took a lot of time and effort, but we figured out I'm allergic to alcohol. Oh, a little drink won't hurt you. Well, I am allergic to alcohol. How does it affect you? Do you break out? Yes, I break out in bad behavior. Like sleeping with your husband. No, I don't think I ever did that. But I would be a handful. All right, so I think I got your thoughts rolling a little bit. If you're looking for a way to get through the holiday, I'd love to hear some of your ideas. Just thank you for keeping me company. Yay! And just remember, you have one life. How are you going to live it? Are you going to live it miserable? Don't do that. Make it the best you can. Sometimes we do have to change our address. That's just the bottom line. But sometimes we can just change our attitude. Yes. That sounds profound, right? I got that from Al-Anon. Either my sponsor or the book. I don't know. I haven't read the books in a while. I should maybe do that. Maybe I'll do that. It's like go through the book a paragraph at a time, like read a paragraph in the beginning of a video that I'm doing, and then maybe that'll help me get through the book. I don't read a lot anymore. It's all on video or audio now for me. And since I haven't been walking out in this weather, I haven't been doing much audio. It's all video. Get my attention. Get it over with. I want to, and then I put it on fast. You know, you can speed it up. Don't forget, if you have these videos and they go on and on and on and on, like mine, but you're afraid you might miss something, you can put it on speed. Just hit that little tool thing, I think, and it'll drop down and it'll put speed, normal, and then you can speed it up or slow it down, depending on what you're listening to and what you want to get out of it. All right, fine. I'm leaving. I'll talk to you later. Mwah! Love you. Bye for now.